All right then. So what was that? Absolutely pathetic. Where do I even begin? What type of performance was that? We played at Old Trafford, at home, and we weren't even there. Ten Hag looked like someone who didn't really have any ideas. The players looked like they were trying to create some form of individual brilliance again. And it just makes you think, do you see Ten Hag being the manager for Manchester United if this is how performances are? If he doesn't have certain players playing? Now, I'm not saying that he should be having a structure and certain players should be playing his tactics to the T. Of course, you need certain players at certain levels to do certain jobs. But in reality, we had players on that pitch to get a win against Fulham. But the reason why we lost is simply because of a lack of effort. Why do we play like we don't care? Why are there players in the team that continuously decide to walk, not show effort? And I'm talking about Rashford. I'm talking about Bruno. Sorry, when he has the ball, he's not careful with it. He doesn't decide to make a correct decision. Casemiro giving the ball away just because he feels like it. Running up until the opposition box and leaving absolute gaps in the midfield. And it's not to say that Kobe Mainu played any better. For me, Garnacho was the only standout, getting chances, taking shots, taking players on. The rest, I'm not too sure what to say about them. It was a very confusing performance. Pathetic at that. And it does leave Ten Hag with a tough job. What does he do going forward with the likes of Shaw, Martinez, Wayland now not available? He brought Anthony on literally in extra time, and at that point we were already losing. And he said after the game that it's got nothing to do with his fitness. He just needs to show that he can start. Forcing no pressure on him for 100%. It was his first game. He did look nervous, in my opinion. Didn't really want to do anything with the ball. Played the safest option every time. So, but there were other players, senior players, who are not standing up and doing what they should do. So how do you expect a 19-year-old in his first game, at Old Trafford no less, to do well if the senior players are not doing their job? Rashford walking again, Bruno complaining to the referee and deciding to roll on the ground looking for free kicks. And I've seen so many people advocating for him to be a continued captain for Manchester United, but he's not a Manchester United captain to me anymore. The way he has been performing of late is not good. It has never been good for the past few games, and yes, we are winning, and yes, we do score goals to win, but it was never sustainable. We couldn't expect to continually play badly and win off moments of brilliance and then expect that to be a building block. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we cannot expect bad performances and winning games in the end, which is all good and well. I mean, at the end of the day, results is what matters, but it was not a sustainable way of playing. Continuously, we're trying to press high, but teams are playing one pass through us and they literally have our entire back four to attack. And that is why we are conceding so many shots. 435 shots this season in the Premier League alone that we have faced. Only Luton Town has faced more. What a damning stat. We are literally at the end of February and our goal difference is still minus. How is it possible that this is where we are, considering to where we were last season with Ten Hag? Third place, scoring goals, and of course, 2 finals, winning the Carabao Cup and being in the FA Cup final. I do not see us going through to Wembley for the FA Cup again with the way we are playing. We play Nottingham Forest next, and I do not think that that's going to be any easier game. No matter who Ten Hag puts out, what type of effort are we going to see? What type of performance are we going to see? How does Ten Hag approach these next games? City away in the Premier League is our next game. That is even more damning to look at. I don't want to think what's going to happen in that game if we have so much space in midfield and we are not defending set pieces properly. We literally are performing abysmally. And To be honest, it's part Ten Hag's fault and part the team's fault. You cannot expect to play certain players and expect them to do a job, but they can't do that job because one, they're not good enough, and two, they don't show effort. And then there's players who show effort but are not good enough. And it's a mixture of everything. It's not just Ten Hag and the players on the pitch, it's behind the scenes that has brought this particular full result on us as a club. How are we losing to Fulham at home? Yes, we had certain players out, but we should have still won this game. Without a doubt, it should still have been a win, but it wasn't. From the very beginning, we didn't look like we were in control of that game. Fulham looked more structured, they knew what they were going to do, they knew their plan, they knew how to execute it. And it showed with the chances that they got. For Ten Hag, it is really tough because if you see him beyond the season as the Man United manager, then fair, that's good. You know, maybe he does deserve to get a fresh start with Ineos backing him. But on the other hand, if he doesn't qualify, you won't be surprised if Sir Jim, Ineos, Omar Barada decide to go with their own manager and get rid of Ten Hag. He isn't doing himself any favors. We might not qualify for Champions League. We might be out of the FA Cup, whether it be against Nottingham Forest or in the next games to come. But it doesn't look like there's a positive ending for Ten Hag right now. Of course, I'm going to back him until the end because I believe that with better players, he can implement his style of football and we can look more successful as a footballing team. But that requires time. And whether he gets that time is dependent on Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth when he does eventually come in. They will look at his results, they will look at how the team is performing, and they will make decisions based on that. They won't think of, oh, who do the fans want? What do the fans want in terms of a manager? They'll listen to it, but it won't be part of their consideration because they will look at stats, figures, success, CVs, see exactly what the next coach might have over Ten Hag and what they might want to implement in terms of having the coach streamlining the direct type of play from the top. You see Liverpool do it. They didn't have the players, but they won the Carabao Cup with youngsters playing the same type of football that Klopp wanted. And whether you like it or not, that shows a structure behind Klopp. City exactly the same. You see our under-18s playing a style of football and they're successful at it. They're still unbeaten. And yes, you will have to accept that Ten Hag was part of that because he put those type of instructions into place behind the scenes for the academy. And whoever does come in to deal with the academy, you know, under the new structure, will want to have them play exactly the way the first team plays. So yesterday's loss was not just due to lack of effort, but it was also due to the way we are playing. The structure doesn't work. The balance is not there. We cannot seem to press properly. And when we do have a failed press, we get counted on and most likely we concede goals. And that is what happened. But that lack of effort, I mean, we only wanted to play after we scored a goal. Then we looked threatening. Then we looked like we were starting to try and make chances to win the game. But before that, for a whole hour, we were doing nothing. We seemed to sit back. We're late into challenges. We're not running. We're not tracking people. And it just seemed the same as the first half of the season that we've been seeing this season. It is tough for Ten Hag. And I fear the worst for him because if we continue to perform like this and the results continue to be bad, then there won't be any light at the end of the tunnel for him. And you would probably have to accept that Sir Jim then would go with their own manager. But I don't know what to expect next. Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup at the Forest City Stadium. It's going to be a tough game. Last time we played there, we lost. We know, same thing. Not tracking runners in the edge of the box. Again, midfield gaps that they are able to run through. We need to have a better structure. We need to have a better game plan in order to counter that and be a bit more assertive in the games. But we'll speak more about that when I do a Nottingham Forest preview for the FA Cup. Thank you for joining me. Of course, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, So we see each other again soon, Red Devils. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.